it any number of times. And it's
Yes, yes, right, right.
error prone human behavior, and it improves the accuracy of your testing also. And when you have to do automation is when you wanted to go for
Right.
regression testing, when application is stable, when no frequent changes to the system. Right?
Correct, correct. Yes. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Introduction to Selenium. Selenium is an open source functional automation testing tool, and it supports only web-based applications. It supports multiple browsers. It supports
Hmm.
and it supports multiple programming languages. So it's
Okay,
going to
okay.
support all the existing browsers, whatever you have, Mozilla, IE, Google, whatever. And it also going to support different operating systems like Windows, Mac, Linux, and Unix as well. So it supports multiple languages or Java, C Sharp, Ruby, Python, PHP, Perl, etc. So in any automation tool, generally you try to automate that. Either you have to write a programming language for it, or either you have to write what do you call scripting of it, either JavaScript, VB script, or the programming language. In Selenium, if you know core Java, you can still go on implementing the automation with the core Java as a programming language.
It is like it is given as the operating system, any operating system, right? For the
Right.
automation.
Yeah. Hmm.
So how, I mean, how in many operating system, how it works like, I mean,
It's a
can we use like
compatible
in
with
Ubuntu,
any.
can we use Ubuntu and all I mean, Ubuntu for this, I mean, if you're using Ubuntu and can we use this Selenium in that?
Yeah. Whatever the script you have written, right, automation script, that is only the script you can execute in any environment, in any browser, in any operating
Okay,
system.
okay, fine. Fine, fine.
You need not to rewrite the code for Linux. You need not to write the code for
Yes, yes,
Windows.
yes.
Just write it once, and it is compatible in
Ah,
any of the operating systems.
okay, okay.
So just this in a table which differentiates between the Selenium and QTP, because these two are uh, in demanding stage in the market now. So when it comes to the Selenium, it's a open source, so it's available on free of cost, right?
Fine,
QTP,
okay.
you have to purchase it. It's a licensed version.
Yes, yes, you're right.
And additional plugins, if you wanted to use any additional plugins, it's free of cost in Selenium. But if you wanted to use any additional plugins in QTP, you have to purchase them again separately.
Yes, yes, okay, right, right.
Efforts and skill, user needs to have a good amount of Java skill, and more coding effort is required to implement the functions. When it comes to the QTP, it
Yes, yes,
requires very less efforts because it supports the
yes.
VB script.
Yeah, yeah. But I heard that most of the big companies are using, I mean, QTP only. I mean, big
No,
companies like,
it was earlier. Now all big companies are moving to Selenium now.
okay, okay.
So operating system, sorry, end user simulation. Selenium performs actions in the background. So what do you mean by Selenium perform actions in the background is like you can minimize your browser, and your script will be running in the browser. Though it is minimized, you can
Yes,
perform
yes. Okay.
other tasks on your system. But when it comes to the QTP,
Mm.
browser needs to be an active status so that uh, you can continue only as long as browser is active.
Okay, okay.
So operating system, Selenium supports multiple operating systems as discussed previously, and it supports
Hmm.
QTP supports only Windows.
Okay, okay. That is a demerit.
Yeah. So application type, it can be used to test only web-based applications. When QTP comes, it's web-based and as well as desktop applications also.
Okay,
So
okay.
browsers, Selenium supports all existing browsers, including the latest versions of the browsers, but QTP supports only IE and Firefox.
Hmm.
And scripting development, you can use any programming language as a scripting development language in Selenium, whereas you have to use only VB script or the JavaScript in QTP.
Okay, okay, fine.
So technical support, there is no technical support dedicatedly available for Selenium, whereas in QTP you have dedicated technical support team available because you are paying and buying license from it.
Okay, okay. So I mean
So
QTP
test,
has little more advantage also, right, in compared to Selenium.
no, I think you can understand this table, right? So all the stuff is having the major advantage from Selenium only.
Yeah, that I can see it. Yes. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the major differences between Selenium and the QTP.
Hmm.
So components of the Selenium, there are four components of the Selenium. One is Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll see each
Hmm.
component on brief. The IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. It's a tool basically. It's not a tool, it's an add-on to the Mozilla Firefox browser. Okay.
Okay.
And it is used to record and playback.
Hmm.
It generates whatever the record actions you are performing while recording. It will generate programming language called HTML. By default, Selenium IDE supports only the HTML language.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay. And drawbacks of Selenium IDE is nothing but it runs in Mozilla Firefox. Only it runs in Mozilla Firefox. If you try to run it in IE, it will not work.
Oh,
And it will not allow conditions and loop statements if you wanted to write in programming. And you cannot upload the files. And it also does not support reading the data from Excel. Like say we have test data from which we wanted to read it. So if you wanted to read the
oh,
test data from Excel, then it will not allow to read it. I mean to say that there is no feature to read the data from the Excel in IDE.
oh. So this is the advantage for this. I mean, this is the disadvantage. I think I can see it.
Disadvantages. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So this is the initial version of Selenium that they started with IDE, right?
Hmm.
And then they moved something called RC.
Okay.
RC is nothing but remote control server. So whatever drawbacks you have in IDE, all those drawbacks are nothing but features of RC.
Oh,
So RC is nothing but remote control servers that allows to run your web application, any programming language against any website using a mainstream called a JavaScript enabled browser. So when you go to
hmm.
the IDE, it was supporting only recording and playback, and it is a plugin to add on to the Mozilla Firefox. It supports only HTML programming language, and it does not support conditions and loop statement. It does not allow upload files. It does not allow read the data from Excel. All these features they have implemented, and they said it's nothing but Selenium RC.
Okay, okay.
So if you look at this architecture, here like you have the programming language in which your application is written, automated. Let's say you
Hmm.
have written it in Java, and then
Okay.
this is your application in which you're trying to test AUT, and here you're passing, when you try to execute this automated script, it's going to the remote control server, RC first. It's
Hmm.
not directly interacting with the application. First, it is going to the remote control server. And this remote control server is going to convert, you, irrespective of the language you used here, it's going to convert all these things into a JavaScript commands.
Okay, okay. So
So
what is this
all these
Selenium
Java,
core? What is this
this is
Selenium
nothing
core
but,
is written?
no, that is nothing but an application AUT in which it is you're running. I would say it's a just browser.
Oh, it is a browser.
It's a browser on which your application is running.
Okay, but this browser, I think I have never used it or never heard of this Selenium Core browser.
No, no, no. I
Because
mean, this is
Chrome and
Selenium Core is no, no, no. Selenium Core is not a browser. It's if you look at the symbol, it's Internet Explorer symbol you are seeing, right? You are seeing Mozilla Firefox symbol here. It's not a
yeah, yeah,
Selenium Core is not a browser. The Selenium
correct.
Core application is running in the Mozilla Firefox. As said, you can run this script in any of
Okay.
the browser. You can run it
Browser.
in IE. You can run it in Google Chrome or whatever the browser. So it's a just we are saying you are written an automated script. When you say run it, so it can run in any of these browsers.
Okay.
And then what it is doing is first it goes to the remote control server, and from there it goes to executing your application in the browser. So main problem is
Hmm.
your programming language is not directly interacting with the application, first part.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
second part, Selenium RC server, what it is doing is it is trying to convert the programming language into JavaScripting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the
Yes. Yes.
conversion is taking time consuming, first part. And second part would
Hmm.
be you have to have your browser needs to be enabled of JavaScripting. If JavaScripting is enabled, then only you would be able to run your script in the browser. Due to security reasons, some of the clients would not take to enable the browsers. They will ask always disable the JavaScripting in the browser and then run application due to security reasons. So if client says disable
Okay.
JavaScripting in a browser, then your automation script will not work, whichever is
So that
used
is
using
this
the RC.
disadvantage of RC, I think, right?
Yes, yeah, it's a drawback of RC.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So whatever drawbacks you have in RC, they have implemented it in WebDriver and they called it as a Selenium WebDriver. So
Oh.
Selenium RC is no more valid now, it's completely deprecated.
Okay.
No one is going to use it now. So there is no need in even to have a discussion more on the RC. So
Hmm.
WebDriver is the one which is used in Selenium WebDriver and Selenium. This is a major component of the Selenium which is used in industry now. So it is
Oh.
same as RC, but it resolved all the drawbacks of RC.
But you said you have one more, like grid is also there, right? So
Yeah,
again, I mean, WebDrive.
we have yet to go to grid. No, it's not. It's not. Grid is not the component due to drawbacks of WebDriver. It's not like that. So grid is used for different purpose.
So in real time, which one you are using, grid or WebDriver?
WebDriver.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, we'll go to the grid. Let's go to grid later. Let's complete this WebDriver and then we'll move to
Hmm.
grid. So WebDriver is
Sure.
same as
Sure.
remote control, but whatever drawbacks there in RC, they removed and they call it as a WebDriver. This WebDriver
Hmm.
directly interacts with the browser and no conversion of JavaScript here. So when you compare with RC, it was doing a conversion to a JavaScript, right? But here it is not doing any conversion part. So WebDriver
Yeah.
is faster to compare to RC as it directly interacts with the browser itself. So it is more object oriented as compared to Selenium RC.
Okay.
It is also supports HTML unit browser. You can use WebDriver to test iPhone and Android based applications which are not supported by RC. Unlike Selenium RC, there
Hmm.
is no server in WebDriver. If you look at in RC, there is always a server here, right? But here, when you go to the
Where is that?
WebDriver, there is a server. There is a server, remote control server here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So everything
Yeah, I
is
can see
going
that.
to server, and from there it is converting.
Oh.
Okay. So RC does not support iPhone and Android based application automation, whereas WebDriver also supports this part. So there is no
Mm.
server in WebDriver, it directly interacts with your browser. And WebDriver supports most of the browsers and latest versions of the browsers as well.
Okay.
Okay. So
What is
coming
this
to the
HTML
Selenium,
unit browser? One second, sir.
yeah, HTML
HTML
unit
unit browser,
browser,
what?
yeah. So it's something a browser to which you would not have any front end.
Any
So
front
if
end?
you, yeah, your web application would be running in a browser, right? So that is your front end, where you can see how it is running, what data it is
Yeah.
taking, what
Yes,
output
yes,
it is
right.
displaying, right? So when you do it in HTML
Right.
unit driver, you don't see anything like that. It will not open any browser or anything. It runs completely at the back end, but it will ultimately give you the output result what it is generated. So it is
So
very
output result
faster.
will it see, I mean, you said that it is not visible in front end. So how can we you will be able to see that?
The WebDriver generates the report, right?
Okay, okay, right, right,
Your
yes, yes.
automation script will be executing in the backend using the
Okay,
HTML
right, right.
unit driver, but it is not visible to the end user,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Once it's completely executed all the test cases, what it would do is it would typically, generate once it completes, it will generate a report to you to what is being executed, what is happened with the test results.
Oh, yes, yes, right. So it will display on the WebDriver screen.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it
mean the
comes back to
output.
the WebDriver. Yeah, there it would display.
Okay, okay.
So it is faster when compared with the other browsers.
Hmm.
So coming to the Selenium grid, Selenium grid is not, the like IDE we came to RC, from there it went to WebDriver, from there it's a grid. No. So grid is something not used, grid is something that is used for compatibility testing, right? So what do
Okay.
you mean by
Hmm.
compatibility testing? When you wanted to perform your application execution on different browsers,
Hmm.
different types of the browsers, or on different operating systems. Let's say my client says I want to execute my application should be compatible in Android, iOS, and Windows applications,
Okay.
right? So you have automated a
Right.
script.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
right, right.
now, if you wanted to run this particular script, first of all, you need to have one operating system, Android, in one machine. Now you need to have
Yes,
one
yes.
more machine with iOS, one
Hmm.
more machine with Windows, right? So these are the different
Yes.
operating systems which you need to have.
Okay.
So what you can do with the grid here is, so
Hmm.
grid has two parts, hub and node.
Hmm.
So what is hub is nothing but hub is the central point where you have your automated script.
Okay.
Okay, and hub is the place from where you are passing your script to
Hmm.
different machine which is
Node.
having the iOS operating system. Node, that is called as a node.
Okay.
So node is nothing but the environment in which you wanted to test your application. Example, iOS, Android. So
Different operating
you
system.
different operating system. So what typically you do, you install all the software on which you wanted to run it.
Uh,
That is on the nodes. When it comes to a hub, typically you generate your automated script in the hub, and from there, once you say run, it will pass your automation script to the different nodes.
okay, okay.
It could be any operating system or it could be anything.
So I mean, like for if you have three, four system with different operating system, and I need to connect with all those three system, and I need to pass those script to those, I mean, the respective operating system,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Okay, okay.
So that is what exactly the purpose of grid here is.
So it's only compatibility testing.
compatibility testing.
Fine,
And
fine.
they're saying it is compatible in any of the operating system. They're saying it is compatible in any of the browsers, right?
Yeah,
So how they are implementing is using the grid. Okay.
fine, fine.
So this is about different nodes. And to understand Selenium, we need to know at least one programming language like Core Java, .NET, C Sharp, or any of the programming language. As a part of this course curriculum, we are going to cover the Core Java.
Okay,
So first we'll learn Core Java, and then we'll move to WebDriver. Sorry, Selenium.
okay, okay. So I mean, I'll have to go through core Java once, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
what I'll be
already
doing.
studied in call. I
Yeah,
already studied in college, but I'll just have to recap everything for the core Java.
yeah. So that would we cover it in this content itself in your.
Okay, okay.
So any questions?
Actually, I understood most of the things, but still, actually, I need to go through the internet. I mean, whether you have left anything or anything. I mean, I'll have to check because I don't know the content also, what is there and what is not there, what I need to study, what I mean need to. I don't. I mean, what is required, what is not required. That also I don't know. So I'll have to check everything.
The required what you need to know is Core Java.
Okay, okay.
So that is a prerequisite to learn Selenium because I see most of the testing background is not from the development background. That's why we
Yeah.
include Core Java as this part of this course.
Oh. Fine.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no problem. You can review in the browser and then